Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Welcome back to the 777-200LR. Today we're going to fly from Adelaide to Dubai, which is about a 13-hour flight, and most of it is going to be a night flight, but we're going to land in an absolutely beautiful sunrise over in Dubai. Now, before we start, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not just do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also other things like data link, VFR, and even a cabin crew simulation doing announcements using your actual Simri flight plan data, then look no further than Say Intentions. We'll be using them for data link, ATC, and cabin crew in today's video, so if you like what you're about to see, then check them out using the link in the pinned comment or in the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. As always, we're going to start by checking our flight plan, and this is going to be our route, departing Adelaide with the first ETOPS alternate in YPLN, and then we've got a very long sector across the ocean until we reach Sri Lanka, then we just about scratch the southern tip of India, and then via Oman into Dubai. The significant weather chart gives us quite a jet stream that's going to come right opposite. Then we've got this little area that we're crossing just to be in the Australian coast, which is marked with number 2, which stands for moderate turbulence from the bottom of the chart, so level 250 until level 400. Then we've got an area of CB while we are crossing a beam Indonesia over here, and then finally another area of CBs until reaching Sri Lanka, and another area of CBs over India, until finally the last about 2.5 hours of the flight are going to be smooth. So right through the intertropical convergence zone, lots of jet streams along the way. In other words, it is going to be a turbulent flight. Luckily it's mostly a night flight, so at least the passengers shouldn't be too demanding. Now, I'm going to skip over all those SIGMETs over here and we'll go straight into the weather information. So Adelaide actually has fairly good weather conditions at the moment. Our destination airport Dubai is superb, clear skies, 37 degrees, and it's going to remain that way over the night as well, with a little chance of the runways shifting for runway 12, but we'll find out about that when we get closer. Now our alternate Al Maktoum, similar conditions, 4,000 meters visibility with dust, but apart from that, not really going to be any problem. Looking into the flight plan then, an on-time departure at 12:20 means that we're going to arrive 8 minutes past the schedule. We're not critical with any of our weights, cruising level 340, then later 360 and 380, and finally flight level 400. Now going down into the fuel section of our flight plan, 98.2 is the minimum takeoff plus 500 taxi. Now, I'd personally say, since the predictions are recently not really all that accurate, we are just going to round that up to 100 tons of fuel, and that should be absolutely sufficient for today's flight. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it, and let's get our pre-flight processes started. So, board the 777 with me. We are going to take a seat here on the captain's seat. It's just 12 degrees outside, so I am running the APU so that we can get a nice and warm cabin. Alright then, the ADRU is coming online, then we can head straight down over here. Cross-check our engine oil quantity, which is fine, the hydraulic quantity is fine, oxygen is fine. Then let's do the oxygen test real quick over there and over here, and last but not least, we've also got to do it in the back of the flight deck, because a flight like this would definitely be operated with at least 3, probably much rather 4 pilots. Alright, so all the masks are good and operative, then we can continue doing a recall, and all those messages are expected, so we can already close that one. Well, let's go ahead. You're going to get the door page, I'm going to take the status page on my side, and let's go ahead with a com page in the middle. And the com page is a very good point, because that's where we can start with an ATIS request of YPAT. So that's our departure airport here. From Say Intentions please, and send that, thank you. Alright, and here's the ATIS. ATIS Oscar. Wind 320 at 10, runways departing 5 and 30. 30 is too short, so runway 5 is going to be our departure runway, QNH 1020. So let's go ahead and dial that one up straight away. Set once and twice. Okay, lovely. So with all of that done, let's go down here. Let's see if we can actually get GSX to do something, but it seems rather reluctant to operate again today, so yeah, it just closes itself. That's fine. Alright, so down into the weight and balance, and we're gonna go into the precise loading, and the total fuel figure is gonna be 100 tons. The rest of it as per our Simri flight plan. And that is now set. Lovely. Alright, cool. So then, let's go ahead and get started on our FMS setup. Now, as always, I will be using my WinWing MCDU to do the inputs. I will be talking along so that you guys can follow as to what exactly I'm actually doing. So we'll start down here with the FMC menu. Right, that's that one. Interestingly enough, it seems that my WinWing doesn't really want to do something right now. Well, let's just reset that thing. In the meantime, it's a 777-200 with a GE90 engine. The nav database is up to date. Then we can go into pass init, GPS position, copy paste, route, request, simbrief, and select. Alright, that is going to take a little while now until everything has uplinked, so let's give it that time. What it's already done is to give us YPAD to OMDB on the Emirates flight 441. That is so far so correct. Let's make use of that time to collect our charts. So we've got the airport chart down here, then we can take the parking stand charts up here, and finally we need the SID charts for our Arepa 1 departure, which is that one. Alright, cool, and that's now pinned. So route uplink is here, let's click load, and that thing is loading. Might take a little while since it's a rather long route that it has to load, but we'll get there. Okay, so let's see, the Arepa 1 of runway 05. So departures 05 Arepa 1, and then index arrival Dubai 30 left for the time being. And they've got the Impad 3 Charlie ULDA transition, route, activate, and now let's quickly go over it and cross-check the uplink. So we're going via Arepa 1, Hotel 54 Camby, November 640 towards Kilo Alpha Tango, Romeo 461 to Mike Delta India, Mike 300 Imuru. Then we've got Papa 570 Mixam, Papa 574 Dapok, Tango 508 Solid, and Papa 574 Impad. That looks correct, so we can execute this. Let's go down onto the legs page, get out our departure charts. So runway 05, and we can check that on the plan page here straight away. So that's going to be straight ahead towards Mopri above 5,000 feet, then a left turn to Sarek above 7,000 feet, left turn towards Dopti above 10,000 feet, then on towards the Rupel, and from there we continue towards Arepa. So far so correct. Then let's go back onto the map over here, route data, wind data request, to ensure that we've got the latest data available. And once that is done, we can already continue. Alright, here's the wind, load, and execute. So FMCCom descent forecast, that's currently still on request, but should be there any moment now. Okay, forecast sent, or rather request sent, and waiting for the data to arrive, should be here like any moment now. 3, 2, 1, load, lovely. Okay, so here it is. Now, 6,038 nautical miles versus 6,048 nautical miles. That's close enough for my taste. On the RADNAV page, there is nothing in there. And then we can copy our departure airport into the fixed page with a 25-mile ring in there. Continue onto the VNAV page. It says transition altitude 10,000 down here. And on the chart, we've got a transition altitude at 10,000 as well. So, onto the init ref and performance init. Let's get the flight plan up here again, and scrolling down a little, we've got alternate 2.8, final is 3.1, well let's make that 5.8, that should be just fine. So 5.8, cruise level 340, Cost index, let's see, 59. Cruise temperature minimum fuel temperature minus 44. Cruise CG 30. And then onto the takeoff page. Next page, noise abatement procedure number 2 is verified down here. Lovely. And that's everything we need to do for the time being. So we're gonna leave it on the performance page over here and on the route page 2 over here. Good, lovely. Then we can stow that EFB again and start the panel scan. So ADRU is on, everything's set. Voice recorder is coming on. The emergency lights are armed. Seat belts coming on. On this side over here, everything is set. Logo light coming on. Over here, everything's set. Going down to the main panel. VOR left, 10-mile range. Traffic selected, VOR right, and airports. Flight directors are both going on. And then onto the right-hand side here, com page is checked. Checklist page, reset all. Lovely. And continuing on the right side, VORs are selected, airports are selected. The ISIS is set, auto brake set to RTO. Park and brake is set, and just a quick thing that I think I might have forgotten. Let's go to PMDG setup, aircraft, load from another, and I think I hadn't loaded the Emirates config before. In any case, now it's loaded. Okay, so getting down to the radios, we are going to have 1 to 1.5 on the right hand side. Then let's get our charts to see what we need on the left hand side. So pinned, airport, airport. Okay, so ATIS 134.5, just in case we need it. So 34.5, and then we'll need the delivery frequency 1261 and ground 1217. So 1261 and 1 to 1.7. Lovely, here we go. So, transmit VHF left, listen to VHF left and right and the flight interphone and the PA system. Weather radar is set to WX plus T. Data is selected, and since we are going to fly with several pilots, we're also going to tune the third ACP. Cabin interphone in the middle, right hand side is set, and you can get the same setup over here. Transponder into above, Squawk 2000, and absolutely on a standby. Alright, lovely. And that's the setup done down here. So with that out of the way, we have pretty much finished our setup. So let's go ahead and request the IFR clearance before we waste a second briefing. So, flight information, departure clearance request, Emirates 441 from Adelaide to Dubai. The facility is going to be Adelaide. So wipehead into... They just accidentally try to put it into the destination. Oh, here we go. Wipehead facility. Gate is 18 right. And the ATIS information, let's see. Review, uplink, Oscar. Good. So, departure clearance request, ATIS Oscar. And since we are nice people, good evening. Okay, cool. So all that stuff is looking good. Let's send that. And then we're just waiting for our clearance to arrive. In the meantime, boarding should already be finished. So let's say hello to our guests as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of Emirates. Welcome aboard our Boeing 777-200LR on our flight to Dubai. Today's flight time is calculated at 13 hours and 10 minutes. We're expecting a smooth flight at a cruising altitude of approximately 34,000 feet initially, up to 40,000 feet during the course of the flight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
make yourself comfortable, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And don't ask me why our cabin crew is interrupting me. Okay, well, that's that. So clearance should arrive any moment. We've already gotten the being processed message.
Thank you for choosing Emirates, and we wish you a pleasant journey.
In the meantime, can we get GSX? Yes, so prepare for pushback and departure, please. Handling by Swissport. Alright, so clearance. Where is it? Here it is. That was quick. Okay, so cleared to Dubai. Aripa 1. which is runway 05. That's confirmed. Reaper 1 is also checked. Maintain 9000. Set. Departure on 118.2, which I'm going to pre-select down here just as a reminder. Alright, 18.2 and squawk 2251. Okay, that's looking good. Let's accept that clearance. And then let's go into the briefing. And the clearance is accepted, so exit, exit, and cancel. Thank you. Okay, so you can start with the briefing whenever you're ready. Thanks for that. So we are going to depart Adelaide, runway 05. We are going to follow the Reaper 1 departure. Initial climb to 9,000 MSA. I think 3,000 is going to keep us safe all the way around, but let's just verify that. Come on. Yeah, 3,800 is the MSA for today's departure. So 3,800 is copied. Extra fuel and time, 1,200 kilos, which is about 10 minutes, plus anything that we are going to carry on from the contingency. Even though I do kinda expect that we might need the contingency due to en route weather today. Lovely, we've got no hotspots for our taxi routing. Stop margin in case of an RTO will not be much, so only a few meters. Engine out if we have to, straight at 25 miles, climbing 4,000, which is going to keep us safe. If we need to make an immediate return, runway 05 is the available runway, and in terms of the approaches available to that one, it's going to be an RMP approach. So the RMP Zulu is the only one we've got available there. Minimum is 360 feet, so no problems whatsoever getting back. The runway itself, 3,100 meters, is long enough, so I'm not worried about that. Now, in terms of non-standards, I've got nothing. Specials, well, to be honest, nothing either. And do you see any threats? Because I don't. And then we don't need to make any up. Alright, cool. Miscellaneous items. We are crossing runway 30, which is active according to the ATIS, so we will need crossing clearance for that. Excellent, and that's our briefing completed. So IRS alignment is also complete. Then let's do the pre-flight checklist, please. That's oxygen, tested 100%. Flight instruments, heading 312, altimeter 1020, reading 30 feet. Set left, set right, pre-flight checklist complete. And did I forget to press those buttons here? Yes, I did. Alright, cool. So that's a briefing complete. Then by now the load sheet should have arrived, and that is also our signal to start closing the doors. So let's go down here. Vehicles, release all, doors, close all. Okay, and then let's do our performance. So weight and balance. We've got a zero fuel weight of 209.2. And that gives us a gross weight of 309.2, which checks against the load sheet. So the CG is 29. And then let's go into the performance app. So departing Adelaide, runway 5. Let's open up the ATIS once again. So takeoff weight is 310, let's say. Just to be safe here, CG 29. Or was it 27? Takeoff CG 27, okay. So CG 27. In terms of the weather, the wind is 320 at 10. What have I done now? Wind 320 at 10. Temperature 12. QNH 1020. Alright, that looks good the way it is here. It's a dry runway, and calculate. That's a takeoff 1 at 36 degrees. So takeoff 1, 36, and that's 93.8% N1, which is okay. So takeoff page, flaps 5, CG 27, gives us 5 units of trim, which checks, and the speed 69, 73, 75. That's all within 1 knot, so we can accept those. Lovely, and that's our performance completed. Okay, good. So all that lovely stuff is done down here. Then let's cancel this. We do have an insufficient fuel message. It expects 4.8 on arrival. Do we have our step climbs in here? Steps 2000. Let's see if that makes a difference already. Wait a sec. Step to level 360 in 3000 nautical miles. That makes no sense at all. Well, that's probably the reason for the low fuel, but why is that? Performance 209. I think the zero fuel weight is wrong. Weight and balance. No, zero fuel 209.1. That is actually correct. Okay. According to this, it should be 178. Okay, 178.1. Why is it uplinking such a high zero fuel weight? Because I forgot to press import from weight. Okay. Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. So, 100 tons of fuel is still correct, and now it's 189.5. That means we need to redo this real quick. 189.5. And that's a gross weight of 289.5. And that should be much, much better. Okay, so let's quickly do that again. Takeoff CG is 26 now. Cruise CG is 27. We can insert that down here. Now let's redo the performance as well. So new weight down here is now, well, 290, I would say. So 290, and the takeoff CG is 26. Okay, calculate. And look at that, totally new figures. So takeoff 2, 36, 89.7 is close enough. And then we've got a takeoff CG of 26 and speeds 67, 68, 69. That's all looking good. Okay. So, much better. We trapped the error. Even though we trapped it on the last possible instance. Okay, so that's 10.8 now for the arrival. That's much, much better. And the step climb is also much better in 2000 miles. Perfect. So then, I would say we can get going. So takeoff page over here, legs page over here. ATIS is checked anyway, so let's close that thing. And then let's talk to the ground. Ground from flight deck. Go ahead. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. All confirmed. Okay, thanks. Then we're calling for pushback clearance. Okay, so ground is on 0.7. And before start procedure, please. 169, LNAV, VNAV. 0429,000. Okay, right hand side first. And the trim goes to 6 units. Transponder comes on. Lovely. Before start checklist, please. So, flight deck door, closed and locked. MCP. V2 169, heading 042, altitude 9000. Takeoff speeds 166, 167, 169. CDU pre-flight. That's complete. Trim 6 units, 0 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Holding at beacon. Adelaide ground, Emirates 441 heavy, request pushback and startup.
Emirates 441, pushback and startup approved. Face southwest.
Pushback and startup approved, facing southwest, Emirates 441. Okay, lovely. So, beacon on, ground from flight deck. Before start check is complete, by the way. So, push and start approved, facing southwest, park and brake set. Roger. Facing, that means tail going to the east. Okay, release park and brake. Parking brake released, and we're starting with pushback. Standing by for your signal to start the engines. And here we go. Interestingly enough, with the chocks still in place, let's quickly remove those. So, doors around, and... okay, we can't even remove the chocks here now. Well, then I'm gonna wait until the push is complete. Perhaps they're gonna vanish by themselves. Okay, ground, we're ready for engine start sequence 1 then 2. And we'll begin with engine number 1 now. Clear 1. And engine 1 start.
Cabin crew, all doors in flight and cross-check. Welcome aboard Emirates Flight 441 departing from Adelaide to Dubai. My name is Khadija, and I am your lead flight attendant today. We are delighted to have you with us. I would like to introduce our captain Emmanuel and our first officer Stephanie.
Looks like the chocks are gone now.
Are my fellow crew members Aisha, Omar, and Fatima. We expect our flight to take approximately 13 hours. Now let's go through some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle.
Gotta say, downtown looks really great in the back there. Also the lights on the hills over there. And look at how the lights of the city are reflecting off the clouds.
Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put on your own mask before assisting others.
I'm really hoping that will be captured well in the video.
They are located under your seat. To use the vest, pull it out. Place
Alright,
it
we've got a good start on engine 1,
over
starting engine 2.
Inflate the vest by
Right,
pulling
engine
the
start.
vent down by blowing into the tube. In the unlikely event of an evacuation, please leave your luggage on board and proceed to the nearest exit. This aircraft, the Boeing 77200LR, has 8 emergency exits, 2 at the front, 2 over the
Alright,
wings,
pushback complete,
and
set your
2 at the
brakes.
rear. Please take a moment to locate
Brake
the
set.
nearest exit, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
So, facing
Captain, the cabin is
southwest,
ready for
looks
departure.
good. Alright, cabin ready, that's good. Like to hear that. The engine is starting nicely as well. Let's turn those lights up a little bit. Right now I've still got the storm light on, but once we turn that off. Alright, I think this is good. Okay, excellent. We got 2 good engine starts. Please prepare the airplane for taxi. I see you with a clear signal on the right hand side, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye. And in here the chocks are removed as well now. Lovely. Okay, APU off, anti-ice is not needed. Flaps 5. So, is the Marshal anywhere nearby? We need his clear signal before we can do the flight control track. That's to ensure that the rudder doesn't accidentally deflect the nose wheel when we check it, if he still removes the pin at that point. Alright, down there he is, and he's holding a pin in the hand, so I can see that from up here. Alright, lovely. Flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Okay, before taxi checklist, anti-ice, auto, recall, checked, flight controls, checked, ground equipment, cleared, before taxi checklist complete. Emirates 441, request taxi.
Emirates 441, this is guard frequency. Please contact Adelaide ground on 121.7 for taxi instructions.
Emirates 441, request taxi.
Attention all aircraft. Information popper is now current. QNH 1020.
And we still have 1020. Okay.
Emirates 441, taxi to runway 5 via Tango 2, Bravo 1, Alpha 6, Alpha 5, Alpha 4, Foxtrot 2, cross runway 12, then Foxtrot 3.
Emirates 441, taxi to runway 05, Tango 2, Bravo 1, Alpha 6, 5, 4, Foxtrot 2, cross runway 12 and Foxtrot 3. Okay, so very quick check, where are we going? Tango 2 is the one we're on, and then we continue Alpha 6, 5, and then into that direction. Okay, totally happy with that. So Alpha 6, 5, 4, Fox 2, Fox 3, all the way to the end. Okay, cool. Clear on the right side, clear on the left side. So storm light going off. Park and brake is released. Let's go. It's lovely how you need so little thrust to get moving in the 777. And back to idle already. So we're gonna go left over here. Speed is good, still 10 knots. And here we go. Ooh, cabin ready. That was quick. Alright, so weather on my side, terrain on yours. In terms of the takeoff briefing, it's going to be a left seat takeoff from 05, noise 2, speed 66, 67, 69, engine out straight at 25, climbing 4000, and we've got nothing special or non-standard over here. Normal sit is straight ahead left-hand turn. We got a couple altitude restrictions there, which should be no problem meeting whatsoever. After all, the FMS hasn't alerted us to anything as well. 3,800 the MSA, 9,000 the initial climb, and we contact departure when advised by the tower controller. Do you have any questions about the briefing? No? Lovely. So 20 knots is fine for this turn because it isn't very sharp. The next one is going to be more interesting. But we don't have to take the first, but the second taxiway left. Okay, that's gonna be this one. Again, not a very sharp turn here, so I'm going to keep the speed up. Okay, so we're clear to cross the runway. Strobe lights coming on. Right side
approaching,
is clear.
30.
And left side
approaching,
is
1,
clear.
2.
Yep, we're clear to cross. Okay, lovely. So we left a little bit earlier. That means we are hopefully going to be able to arrive on time in Dubai. So, before takeoff checklist? Before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, so weather is no threat. The time of the day is no threat. Should be an absolutely easy flight. If you're wondering why I'm mentioning the time of the day, we are doing an evening departure over here, but since from our home base in Dubai this is an eastbound flight, the actual time that our body clock would be adjusted to isn't too bad. So 12:22, I believe Dubai is +4, so it would be something like 16:22, so 4 p.m. over in Dubai. And with that, honestly, if you're tired at 4 p.m, then yeah, that would speak for pretty bad rosters. I'm not going to blame the pilot for this one. Note that. By the way, something I like at this airport is that it doesn't have taxiway edge lights. Now, in the real world, obviously, I would rather have them than not have them, but the simple fact that MK Studios has also realized it like that is that we gotta be a little bit more careful during our taxi, and, you know, that's the kind of challenges that I do appreciate. By the way, beautiful conditions over here with those lights lighting up the trees, isn't it? That just looks superb.
Emirates 441, contact tower on 120.5.
120.5, Emirates 441. Adelaide Tower, Emirates 441 Heavy, ready for departure.
Emirates 441 Heavy, Adelaide Tower, runway 05, winds 330 at 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 05, clear for takeoff, Emirates 441 Heavy. Okay, approach area is clear. Are you ready? Lovely. Checklists are complete. Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
Approaching 05.
That's checked and confirmed. Okay, timing.
On runway 05.
Takeoff. Stabilized. Set thrust. Thrust set. It's checked.
Adelaide Tower, Jetstar 689er, established on the RNAV runway 05.
V1.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Look at those lights. That's what I love about nighttime flying. Autopilot. And acceleration. Climb thrusters set. Lovely. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. So departure 18.2, I'll just pre-select that. And flaps 1. Sorry, flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps up. Welcome to Boeing. Emirates 441 changing to departure. Bye bye. Departure Emirates 441 Heavy passing 2,400, climbing 9,000. So flaps up. Anti-ice is auto. After takeoff checklist.
Emirates 441
after
Heavy,
takeoff
Adelaide
checklist
departure,
complete.
radar contact, climb 9,000.
Climb 9,000 Emirates 441 Heavy.
flight level 210.
Emirates 441, climbing flight level 210. Set, 210 checked. Okay, so we are passing a beam Opry, we are about in 5,000, yeah, that's fine. On the lower limit of the altitude restriction, but it's fine. Going through a couple of clouds, look at how lovely they are lit in this simulator. That's just... honestly, that's something that only Flight Sim 24 can do. Not even 2020 is capable of doing such a nice night lighting. Really, really like the lighting engine of that new simulator. Okay, so some 1,000 or above. Again, same thing with the altitude. We're about there, so I'm totally happy with this. So next track gonna be 234. And here we go. So, shall we see if we can get any shortcut here? Emirates 441, any chance to proceed direct to Arepa?
Emirates 441. Proceed direct to Arepa.
Direct to Arepa, Emirates 441, thank you. Okay. So, Arepa, here it is. Execute. LNAV available, LNAV. Lovely. So, let's see. Arrival time 0114, and that's with the wind data already uplinked. Good. And what's the schedule? 0130. Alright, lovely. So we're actually going to be 15 minutes ahead, including the entire transition. So that means probably going to be on time by the time we land. Lovely. That is all I can ask for.
Emirates 441. Climb flight level 270.
Emirates 441, climbing flight level 270. Set. 270 is checked. So, nicely out of the clouds, and look at the starscape. Beautiful. Alright, so it's done that. It's done a cross-check, passing level 102, well, 103 in a few moments.
You may now turn on your devices and enjoy our Wi-Fi service.
So, lights off, logo light off, and yeah, I think we can release our guests. Cool. So, then let's log on to CPDLC. Let's see what the ident is over here. Yankee triple mic. ATC, log on, Yankee triple mic. Insert, send. Lovely. And with that, everything's done. So I would say sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight to Dubai with us.
Center, Emirates 441. Morning, descending through flight level 150.
Emirates 441, UAE Center, identified. Good morning.
Well, good morning is a good point. Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, still a little bit earlier of a morning than I had originally anticipated. The sun hasn't risen as much as I hoped, but that's because we are about 20 minutes ahead of schedule. Dubai is already straight ahead, and just look at the lovely views over here.
Emirates 441, UAE Center, contact Minhad approach on 122.5.
Contacting Minhad approach on 122.5. Emirates 441.
So we've just been handed off to approach. That is a good point just to review the ATIS for us over here as well. And the latest just came in. The wind is now 085 at 5, clear skies, 38 degrees, and the QNH is 999.
Emirates 441, morning. We're descending through flight level 130.
Emirates 441 Heavy, Minhad approach, identified. Sabah Al Khair, Dubai. QNH 1001. Expect the ILS runway 30 left approach into Dubai.
QNH 1001, expecting the ILS runway 30 left approach. Emirates 441 Heavy.
Okay, cool. So our previous clearance was to descend via the arrival. That means we can basically dial up the next lower altitude here, which is going to be below 11,000.
Emirates 441 Heavy, speed 230 knots.
Okay, well, we can just help it with that. Emirates 441 Heavy, speed 230. So let's just force it down to that speed. Just help the plane a bit. And here we go, that's better. Alright, so expecting runway 30 left, we're clear to descend via the arrival. So I'm just going to put in something like 6,000 or so for the time being. And with that, let's go ahead and start our approach briefing. So, over to you. Okay, it will be the Impad 1 Charlie arrival, expecting an ILS approach runway 30 left. The minimum is 260, go around straight ahead and then a left-hand turn, leading eventually to Agnot with an altitude of 3,000. And extra fuel and time, 7.4 on landing and 5.8 is the reserve, so we're looking at around about 10 to 15 minutes-ish. So, thank you for that, milady. Now, we are going to fly a flight director guided ILS approach, flaps 25, auto brake 3, vacate the runway to the left, and we did get our gate down here. Let's just see.
Emirates 441, descend altitude 10,000, QNH 1000.
Descending to 10,000, QNH 1000, Emirates 441.
Set, 10,000 checked, set QNH, and QNH 1000 is cross checked, passing 10,940 now. So, expecting gate Charlie 26. I don't see any hotspots for our taxi in, and apart from that, we've got nothing special or non-standard. Do you see threats for the arrival? Well, I see only one, and that's definitely that we might be a little bit tired over here on the approach. We're now 12.5 hours in the air. It's 5 AM Dubai time, so roughly 5 AM for our body clocks as well. So yeah, that is definitely a little bit earlier than what I would like. So just have that in mind. How are we going to mitigate against those threats? We're going to be vigilant, we'll be looking out, we'll be backing each other up, and we'll strictly follow the procedures. Any questions, comments or concerns? No? Lovely, so that's our briefing complete. Then let me take a short moment to say bye-bye to our passengers. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. From the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We've started our approach to Dubai and the remaining flight time is approximately 10 minutes. The weather in Dubai, clear skies, temperature 38 degrees. Thank you very much for choosing Emirates for today's flight. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to welcoming you all again soon. Thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you a nice and safe onward journey or a nice day in Dubai. Okay, so the cabin is briefed. Then let's see if we can get radar vectors to the final. Emirates 441, request radar vectors to final approach.
Emirates 441, descend altitude 3000, turn left heading 255 vectors for the ILS, runway 30 left approach.
Descend 3000 left, 255 vectors, ILS 30 left, Emirates 441. Okay, thrust,
Descend altitude.
thrust heading select level change, 3000 checked, and set po on top please. Okay, here we go.
Captain, cabin is ready.
So, 600 feet high, let's help it with that. And this is the kind of mitigation I mean
Emirates
against...
441 heavy, 13 miles from Sedipur. Maintain heading 260, descend altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 30 left approach.
To arrive at the gate. It should
Emirates 441, right heading 260, descend 2000, cleared ILS 30 left.
we will be
Over
arriving.
to Dubai Tower on 118.
So this is kind of what I mean with the mitigation against being tired. You know, we are just a couple hundred feet above the profile, and on short haul I would absolutely have squeezed the last bit out of it to make it as efficient as possible and not to waste even half a kilo of fuel. On long hauls, flying large airplanes like these, being tired on approaches like these, you know, don't mess with it. Just get that speed brake out, get the airplane down, that's fine. And here we are, looking good. Alright, cool. So we're already on the QNH 1000. The 8 is set 999, so 1000 is probably last minute change here, that's fine with me as well. And then we can do the approach checklist, please. Altimeters, QNH 1000. Approach checklist complete. So there's another aircraft coming our way over here. Where is he? Can't really see him. Doesn't seem to have his lights on. Interesting. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. We can see the airport over there. That's fine. Okay, so tower is most likely going to be on 118.75. And that's pre-selected, and then I'd say let's have a little bit of fun at least. Manual flight. We're cleared for the approach. Localizer armed. Let's help the
Sky
plane a little
Dubai
bit more.
831 contact. UAE center on 118.925. Emirates 441, contact Dubai Tower on 118.75.
118.75, Emirates 441.
Switching to UAE.
Dubai Tower, Emirates 441 heavy, ILS 30 left. Okay, so 11 miles out, glide slope in roughly 3.5. That looks okay to me. Approach
Emirates
out.
441 heavy. Dubai Tower, roger. Continue approach for runway 30 left.
Continue approach, Emirates 441. So, I don't know what it was with that glide slope, but that did not seem rather accurate. Here we are, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 5. Okay, let's help with that bit more. A little bit more speed brake. Just to be sure we lose that airspeed.
2500.
Checked. That's the conservative approach to flying these. That's exactly the kind of threat mitigation that we're looking to see here.
Wind 080 at 5. Runway 30 left, cleared to land.
Runway 30 left, clear to land, Emirates 441 heavy. Okay, gear down, flaps 20. Okay, we do have glide slope capture. Set go around altitude. 3000 set. So, speed brakes in and armed. Alright, flaps 25. Speed checked. Flaps 25. Okay, so landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. Checklist complete. Lovely. So, everything done. Everything set, everything checked. Landing checklist complete. Lovely. Alright, so the glide slope nicely matches the Papi.
1000.
Not that we'd see that often in the sim. ...163 knots ground speed with 10 knots tailwind. Emirates 441 wind check.
Approaching 30 left.
Checked. Emirates 441, please confirm the wind.
Approaching minimums.
Checked. Vertical speed is checked, correcting.
Minimums.
Continue.
Emirates 441. Winds 080 at 5.
100.
Okay.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed break up. Thrust versus normal. .100 knots. Manual brakes. 80 knots.
1,500 meters remaining. One 1,200 remaining.
And welcome to Dubai.
Emirates 441. Welcome to Dubai. Contact ground on 118.35.
118.35, Emirates 441. Dubai ground, Emirates 441 Heavy, request taxi to the gate.
You know that Dubai is home to the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, which stands at an impressive 828 meters. Thank you for flying with Emirates. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On
Emirates
behalf of Captain
441.
Emmanuel,
Taxi to
First
gate
Officer
C28 via Kilo 8, Kilo,
we wish you a
Kilo
pleasant
1,
stay
cross
as
runway
well
12 right,
as
then Mike 4 Mike, Mike 1, Lima. Good day.
For those with connecting flights, please note the
Emirates 441 confirmed Charlie to 8 via Kilo 8, Kilo Lima.
Flight 819 to King Khaled departs at 7:10 from gate A5. Flight 787 to Accra departs at 7:10 from gate C7. Flight 161 to Dublin departs at 7:20 from gate A8. Flight 35 to Newcastle.
Charlie to 8
departs at
is up
7:20
here,
from gate
okay.
A30. And flight
So Kilo Lima 1 Lima.
departs at 7:25
Okay.
from gate A13.
Well, I'll tell you what though, I want a gate that's, you know, a proper gate, so let's just go ahead, request Fox 12 over here, maybe? Emirates 441, request gate Foxtrot 12.
Emirates 441, taxi to gate F12 via Kilo 8, Kilo 1, cross runway 12 right, then Mike 4, Mike 1, Lima.
Roger. Foxtrot 12 via the most direct routing. That's Kilo. Thank you very much. Okay, not sure where that taxi clearance came from. Fox 12 is literally over there. So straight ahead, left turn into the gate. Man, look at the nice colors here. That's beautiful, isn't it? I almost feel bad for having to interrupt this to bring up the GSX window to get our parking guidance. Alright, so Fox 12. Here we go, that's better. Okay, down here everything's done, APU is already started. Lovely, then shut down right engine. Engine shut down right, that's checked. And Fox 12 is just over there. Okay, Foxtrot 16 over here. Alright. And here it is, Foxtrot 12 on the left hand side. Lights off, please. Okay, the lights are off and the weather radar is off. Those are always my two things that I check on Boeing aircraft, since we don't have an after-landing checklist as we do in the Airbus. So, B777 is on the guidance system. B772 is written down there on the ground. And stop. Lovely. Parking brake set, storm light on, and APU running. Lovely. Alright. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, so shutdown checklist, park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. Okay, GSX, request deboarding please. And then we can go down here, ground operations, set the chocks, connect the ground power. And then we'll shut the APU down, turn the packs off, because that way we can also request the air conditioning unit, which we are absolutely gonna get here in Dubai. So, disarm slides please, open 1 left and 2 left, which are the 2 doors that we'd be using in the real world over here. And then, let's go ahead and do our after landing stuff. So we used 92.2 tons. And we were supposed to use 90.6. So we used up a little bit more fuel, but that is okay. Definitely written down for the next sector here. 7.8 remaining is fine, but we would have had quite a bit less if we had to fly actually the entire arrival. So that's always something to keep in mind over here. Status page is clear, then you can have the doors, please. Oil usage is absolutely fine. A little bit more on the right side than on the left side. That's something I'm going to tell the engineers, but they're going to notice anyway, so not really something to worry about for us. Well, and in any case, that's everything that I have to offer for you this morning. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you have really enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.